you must stay at home.
2 million people in the northeast of England are facing even tougher restrictions.
It's the biggest regional lockdown yet.
Last Christmas I gave my heart, but the very next day you gave it away.
Cultural venues, from the smallest theatre to the Royal Opera House in London, are under immediate threat.
We had to accept that we wouldn't be able to save absolutely everyone.
And as nobody knows when theatres will be able to fill their seats again, it's an industry in crisis.
Hi, so I'm Lee Brannigan and I run AG Costumes here in Concert. I'm the manager here, so I look after all the customers. I get all the costumes together for the customers. The business has been going for 40 odd years, providing costumes for local amateur groups, professional theatre tours, and it's just grew and grew and grew. So being in the northeast, we have a lot of local amateur groups. There's so many now, which is great for us. It's good to see when we go to see shows that it's our work and our costumes that are up there on stage, which is great. And being in the northeast, we're sort of the only costumer for theatre, which is good. We like to provide costumes all over the UK, but a lot of our businesses from up here, I think because people can come in, they can see what they're going to get, they can have a look and have an idea of what colours they might want to go for, what the finale theme might be, so they get that whole experience by coming in to the warehouse itself. Pantomime is big. In the month of December we take a lot of money because of that many groups doing pantomime, but it's fun putting the pantomime costumes together because that's our like putting the tree up, like that's our sort of little moment to get into the Christmas spirit a little bit more when we start dragging all the dame costumes out and the tinsel and everything that comes with it. So we would normally have, last year we did 60 shows throughout the year, and this year we've done 2. So it's like horrendous. So if you think only 2 shows have been in so far, how much money we've lost this year. But we're hoping that once we get out and vaccines work and everything and theatres can return to normal, that everyone's just going to run out and want to do the show. But yeah, we thought we've got to give families pantomime, because my experience in pantomime is I've always went to one since I was a kid. That was my tradition, going with the family, going with my nana. So I've grew up with panto for years and years and years, and I wouldn't like to see kids not to have a panto because of what's going on in the world. Do you know what? I'm a big believer that theatre is the best thing for people's mental health, and it's whether you go and see something sad, or whether you're going to see something fun, or whether you're going to see a pantomime which is fun, full of comedy. I think people come out the theatre feeling totally different. They've been somewhere that that's not normal life. So, families, especially nowadays with people getting laid off or people on furlough, people don't have the money like they used to, and going to spend so much money on a pantomime, they can go and see one locally, amateur or semi-professional or professional, on a cheaper scale, and still feel that goodness about themselves and getting that bit of mental health.
My name is Gary Telfer and I'm Managing Director of Blue Genie Entertainment. Blue Genie Entertainment is a family-run theatre production company. Our biggest pantomime is in Whitley Bay in the northeast at the Playhouse. We would normally have a 5 or 6 week run at the Playhouse, and over that period of time we would play to almost 25,000 people.
I've been doing panto all over the country. I'd been basically quite a few places all over the UK. And Gary contacted me, and he just called me out the blue and said, I'm looking for a comic for Whitley Bay. How far away is that from where you live? And for me, it was about 10 minutes from my house, so it was absolutely brilliant. The problem for me was when Gary told me about the Playhouse, it was a bit sort of run down and dilapidated. And Gary said, have you seen it lately? And I said, no. He says, go and have a look. It's had a complete refurbishment. They've spent about, I don't know whatever it was, 5-6 million quid on the place. So I went to watch a show and I was just absolutely gobsmacked. It was just such a lovely theatre. Every year from that, I just fell in love with the place. I enjoyed working with Gary, and here we are 10 years down the line.
COVID had quite a big impact, really, because obviously we kind of finished in March was when the initial lockdown came in, and actually, believe it or not, March is for me is one of the busiest periods of the whole pantomime season. So we're now already starting on panto for Christmas 2021. So last year we were already working towards Christmas 2020. COVID in March obviously put a halt on being able to employ the actors.
I remember I was on a cruise ship in, I think it was mid-February, and I was out in the Far East and we were in Singapore, and obviously it had just been talked about that it was just beginning COVID. Little did we know, about a month later, basically everything fell off a cliff.
Financially, it's had a huge impact. As a pantomime company, our income comes in at Christmas. Obviously, without having any income this year, it's very, very difficult, because we're now faced where our next payday is December 2021.
Sorry, Gary, you've heard this story a million times. I was 10 years of age and my dad's work took us to the Theatre Royal to see Cinderella. I just remember thinking, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It is so brilliant. We just didn't realise. If you've never been to a theatre, you don't understand the first time you go. To not like theatre, to me, I think is quite a hard thing to do. I think most people, if they sit down and they watch a good production, they'll be blown away by it. If we can ride that storm, I really believe it's going to be a bumper time for theatre, but it's been able to get through that sort of rocky patch. But I do think when it comes back, it'll come back with a bang. People are desperate to be entertained.
Hello, my name is Sarah West and I run Tall Tales Mysteries, which is a murder mystery company. So before COVID-19, we had teams of actors who would perform in hotels and lovely venues up and down the northeast into North Yorkshire as well. You would find us at places like Acklam Hall, the Great North Museum in Newcastle, and Walworth Castle, really lovely, interesting places. So when the pandemic hit, my first thought was that's it. We're not going to be able to do anything this year at all. But we were approached by a company who asked us if we would do a virtual murder mystery on Zoom. And I said yes. So we had to go, and it was absolutely amazing. We have adapted it, changed it, so that we've now got it as close as we possibly can get to the sort of performance that we would do when we're out and about in the northeast. We've been really lucky in that it's actually allowed us to reach a much wider audience rather than the people just in our region, and we've been really lucky that we've developed a really loyal following who now try to come to every show that we do. I've had messages from people saying, you know, this is fantastic. You've actually allowed me to communicate with people, have chats and laughter with people who they don't even necessarily know, but they've really enjoyed that interaction, which has been wonderful. Some of our European guests have asked us to continue doing these at least once a month so that they can still come and join in and have fun with us, which is great. We've been using about 6 to 10 regular people. So it's been fantastic to actually be able to keep some actors in work when otherwise they would have absolutely nothing to do. We really do miss the live events. We really do, because there's that instant interaction with people. You can hear the laughter as you're performing. Watching television is great and what have you, but there's something about being in a big theatre with lots of other people all experiencing the same thing at the same time, and the atmosphere and the live performances. So we do really miss that, and we can't wait to get back to doing it again. But when that will be, I'm still not really sure.
So my name is Karen Kilvington, and I am the Artistic Director of Theatre Space North East.
Welcome, one and all, to Gretel and Hansel.
Hansel and Gretel's Story Time!
So it's a kind of, it's a new take on Hansel and Gretel, and we kind of set it in a parallel, a universe parallel to ourselves, where we had King John II, who was a kind of a bumbling, kind of useless, U-turny, non-decision-making monarch, and he was advised by a shadowy panel of mysterious faceless creatures. This is not a difficult parody to spot, and so he's got the world in poverty and has decided that children can be privatized, so they should be earning this, and if you're not looking after them properly, then they will be taken off you or they will be bought from you. So Papa Grimm decides to send his children away to hide with an old friend in the woods, who happens to be our witch.
But we can't let the virus run rampant either. Oh no, I'd never hear the end of it.
Oh, COVID. Usually our winter tours are take place in unusual indoor venues. So castles, so Newcastle Castle, Alnwick Castle, Scarborough Town Hall, York Merchant Taylors Hall are all places that we would normally tour to at this time of year. Usually we would work as a promenade theatre company, so you'd be moving around a space, taking an audience with you, but you can't do that safely. This year it's been the thing that people have missed most, is being able to get together in a place and share an experience together. And I think it's difficult in this time with the kind of conditions that we've got going on, but realistically theatre is, particularly outdoor theatre like we've been silly enough to do in December, is one of the safest ways to do that. You can social distance, you can kind of still be in the same space as people and share an experience together without the kind of risks that are really everybody's struggling with in this pandemic. Theatre to me is, it's not just what I do, it's who I am, it's who I've always been, and I think it's really important for me, physically and mentally. We have managed as a company to do all of the shows that we planned on doing this year anyway, but every single one of them has been a fight. It's difficult in this time with the kind of conditions that we've got going on, and I think that's why it's been really important to keep going, to keep fighting and to make that happen.
Godmother, that's right, and you can find me here at the parking lot social with the pantomime Cinderella. Now this is an event that's been made especially for COVID. Now this year there's been lots and lots of things happening and you haven't necessarily been able to go out and about and enjoy everything that you would normally like to. So the Parking Lot Social have come up with this brilliant event and it's going all over the UK. So you can literally jump in your car with your social bubble, your household, and you can drive straight in. And then you roll up to the stage and we've got these huge screens as well so you can see everything that's going on and it's very interactive. So we get you to do things like beeping your car horns, flashing the lights and waving the windscreen wipers, and it's a brilliant experience for absolutely everyone. So normally, obviously Christmas time is a very big time for us as a pantomime company. We go all over the place. We do lots of touring shows in lots of different venues, and of course we have theatre shows as well. Now again, due to COVID, in some areas these theatre shows haven't been able to happen, like with lots of other theatre companies, which is very unfortunate. The arts sector has definitely suffered this year. But with events like this, we're able to still get out and be COVID compliant. We're out in the fresh air, albeit a little bit chilly for December. I mean, it does have its challenges, you know, if you've got the wind and the snow and the rain, but you know what, everyone's missed performing so much this year that getting to do this, you don't even notice things like that. For me personally, theatre is a cliche, but theatre is my life. I'm very fortunate to be able to be in a job which isn't really deemed as work, because we get to play every day, we get to dress up and become these different characters and just have fun. It's not your regular 9 to 5 at a desk job. So for theatre, for me, it's the be all and end all, and it's a fabulous thing to be involved in. Theatres are wonderful places to work. The atmosphere is electric and they're brilliant. But equally, the atmosphere from the cars and the guests coming in to watch us is electric. When everyone's getting involved and bibbing those horns and just you know, that audience participation, it's just brilliant to still allow people to have that little bit of escapism and enjoy being in a totally different world for a minute and forget about everything that's going on. Trying to keep COVID compliant makes that very hard. We've successfully done it, we have, which is why we're here, and which is how we managed to put on this pantomime. So I hope you all enjoy the show. Thank you for watching. Fairy Godmother out.
Theatre is one of those things that brings people together. This year it's been the thing that people have missed most, is being able to get together in a place and share an experience together.
I think people come out the theatre feeling totally different. They've been somewhere that that's not normal life.
You can step outside of your world and just get lost in a story. It has been missing and I can't wait for it to come back.
I think people are genuinely desperate for live theatre again. If we can ride that storm, I really believe it's going to be a bumper time for theatre.